What's good, everybody? This is Sean. You're watching On the Fly X. And today I want to talk about the new Black Panther. I want to talk about the new T'Challa Jr. or the T'Challa the second. However way you want to slice it or dice it. David Jonsson. Now, David Jonsson, to some of you, you may know him as a dude from The Long Walk. I was first introduced to him on Alien Romulus. He played like an android. He was very sympathetic android, like a very sympathetic character, like you feel bad for him. Even though he was an android, you could feel the human side of him, like he was sort of autistic in a sense. So you felt a lot of sympathy for him. He is played in another movie called The Wasteman. He was in a show, I believe in the UK. I don't remember the name, but I've been kind of reading up on him. And what I want to say is that I'm proud that he is the new Black Panther. I have no disdain for Jonsson Idris, but I didn't want him to be the new Black Panther. Not because he doesn't fit the part or anything like that. I just didn't want him to play it, like it would have been easy for them to choose him and, he's handsome, he's whatever. So it would have been easy for them to choose somebody like him. I didn't want him. I wanted there to be a new up-and-coming actor, and looks like David Jonsson is going to be the person. Now, obviously, they're going to have to bulk him up. He's a little short. I'm not exactly sure how tall he is, just based on the stage. I'm gonna have to look up all this stuff. I'm just going off on the fly. He looks like he's about 5'6", 5'7", so he's not a very tall man, which is fine. With camera work, they can do all of those things. So I'm very happy that they chose him to be the new Black Panther for the next, I don't know how many years. You know what I'm saying? Because this is going to be the third one, and usually when they have a franchise, they usually do a trilogy. Now, maybe with this signing, they'll probably sign him on for future projects, like how they did Chadwick Boseman in Captain America: Civil War, when they first introduced him. So maybe they will put the new Black Panther in several upcoming Marvel movies. That remains to be seen. But I think that the casting is pretty much, I'm not going to say perfect, but I know that dude is a great actor. I know he's young. He definitely has the acting chops to show emotion, to show, things that we want to see. Now, there are going to be some people who are going to be kind of salty about it. Like, why didn't they get an American actor? There was a few people, I'm not going to front, there was a few people that I had in my head that I wanted them to choose from. So I did not see this one coming, but because they chose him, I'm not mad at it. And we all know Ryan Coogler's track record. That man don't miss. So if he is responsible for the choosing of the new T'Challa, then obviously he sees something that, probably no one else seen, especially with him being a new up-and-coming actor. Maybe a lot of people feel like he doesn't deserve it. Who knows? I feel like let's give him a chance, because dude, he got the skills. So we're not going to even act like, he got the skills, and he's up and coming, Now, what I want to point out is when I was watching the showcase, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not trying to stir like any type of controversy or anything like that, but Letitia Wright, she didn't look too happy about that. You know what I'm saying? It almost seems like she was against it. I'm not saying that she dislikes David Jonsson, and I'm not saying that she wants to hold the mantle by being the Black Panther, but that obviously that wasn't the initial plan. The initial plan was for her to basically be the sister and eventually she might take over the mantle like it is in the comic books, but now she's going to be the auntie, and she's going to basically have to give up that mantle. I don't know if Letitia Wright is happy with how things are going. Now, I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying that, Marvel, Kevin Feige, or Ryan Coogler is pushing her out the door. I'm not saying it in that type of way, but to me, it just didn't seem like she was happy with the announcement. If you can watch her on stage, and I will put it on stage, but, I ain't gonna do that. But it just seemed like to me, she was not happy with, the announcement of the Black Panther 3. Now, they did have a release date. It said December 18, 2028. That's literally more than 2 years from now. And if I have anything to say about that, this is the reason why I have issues with Marvel. Like, the first one came out in 2018. The second one came out in, I think, 2021, something like that. And so now it will be 6-7 years later when the third one comes out. You would assume, now maybe it was some things behind the scenes that we just don't know about, but you would assume that maybe there was talks after Black Panther 2 that, they would not only have a new actor, they would already have a script. And I know Ryan did say that they've already started, but to me it just seems like they're just not starting with everything. I really feel like they should have already had somebody in mind. Not even if they didn't choose David Jonsson, I feel like they should have already had somebody in mind, and they would have been ready to go and ready to shoot, and then go from there. But we'll talk about this some more later on. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on the announcement of David Jonsson, him being the new Black Panther. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Post your comments down below. I'll catch y'all on the fly. Peace.